welcome back to another episode of Happiness Matters, the show with me, Beanie Man, and Mr. Mo, the service dog, co-host extraordinaire. Today I have a friend of mine here, and yes, we met networking, we met through the Women's Chamber, I believe.
Yep, that's where it originally started.
Dr. Max Pohl.
Hello.
And I love your shirt, show your shirt, because shift happens.
Shift happens.
Because, get your shift together.
You have to get your shift together.
And Max is a chiropractor.
I am.
And when I first heard your chiropractor, I like you because I like your energy and, you're outgoing and everything.
Thank you.
And
likewise, by the way.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Oh, thanks.
Maybe it's contagious.
It must
Maybe
be.
that's how we met.
Well, your vibe attracts your tribe,
There you go.
Anyway, but when you said you're a chiropractor, I'm like, because I've done regular chiropractic before with all my issues that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I do that, and even if I sign up for their package and I do it for a while, it's that snap, crackle, pop. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually off worse afterwards than I was before.
That's not fun.
No, it sucks like a super Hoover, really. So when I met you, I was a little bit, I listened to what you have to say. And then I think you did a business after hours.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I heard your story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that page story that you shared.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, maybe I should give this a shot. So let's talk about what made you decide to become a chiropractor.
Good question.
I know, right?
So
sometimes I have good ones.
Jumping all the way back, the human body has always captivated my attention.
Okay.
And so prior to becoming a chiropractor, I looked into physical therapy, I looked into occupational therapy, I shadowed an orthopedic surgeon, and I was also doing personal training at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so I knew that I didn't want to count repetitions of people, doing an exercise. I knew that occupational therapy was more around...
But why? When I do physical therapy, I rely on them to count for me because my brain goes and I lose count.
And my brain goes too. And so I can really only get to like 10 or 11 consistently, and then after that it's
I can't even get too far. It's like 1, 2, 3, many.
1, 2, 3, gone.
Right, pretty much.
And so I shadowed a chiropractor, and I did my preceptorship, or my...
Your what?
To graduate from undergraduate.
Oh, okay.
And he was doing great, and I thought, why not? This seems like a effective way to help people, where there is, a low incidence of alternative things happening, low side effects. It's not working around anything, it's quick, it's easy, and it's natural. Put nothing in, take nothing out. So that's how I got into the basis of chiropractic. But like you were saying, we don't do the normal type of chiropractic. We don't do the snap, crackle, pop. We have a unique focus now.
And don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not for me.
No, I did traditional chiropractic for
not for everybody.
4 years, and it's great. It helps people.
Right.
It helps people.
And and the thing I learned too, it's like not everything is for everybody.
True. Very true.
Fortunately, there's enough out there for everybody. Mm-hmm. Enough people, enough of everything for everybody, and it's just like find what works for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, we live in an abundant world, right? If you have a mindset for it.
Yeah. Oh, mate, there's abundance everywhere.
Now there is. So to segue into the next portion of your question, I think was, how did I get into this type of chiropractic?
Right.
And this type of chiropractic focuses at the area closest to the brain. So we put all of our attention to the upper neck because it's the region closest to the brain.
It's these two right here, right?
Yep, it's the top 2 bones of the neck. And basically, rather than popping, twisting, and cracking based off of pain or based off of symptoms or based off of tight muscles or something like that, we use 4 objective measurements to figure out, 1, if someone's a candidate for what we do. 2, we use those measurements as we go throughout a correctional process, and we do all this without ever popping, twisting, and cracking, essentially to correct the area closest to the brain, because your brain controls what?
Everything.
You're everything. Thank you. She's seen me at 1 or 2 networking events.
Well, but
what does the brain control?
Well, I knew that before because it's like, for me, mindset is the control center of your life, and where's your mind?
Yeah.
It's in your brain.
Yeah.
Your brain is not your mind, by the way.
No.
Some people, when they think of mind, they see the picture of the brain.
Yeah.
No, it's within the brain, and there's no really a pinpoint for it, but it controls everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So.
And I really like we should talk about that later too, about how the mind might not be inside the brain, because that's a pretty in-depth conversation. That's pretty cool.
No, it's inside. Well, it's really all around, but anyway.
Separate.
That's like a
Separate,
2 week. That's about a 2 week conversation.
How long do we have? Internet.
You know what? This is my show. I usually strive for 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
But
We'll see where it goes.
Well, my next appointment is coming, so
Gotcha.
we have an hour.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Where were we? So
We're talking about the brain controls everything.
Thank you. So the brain controls everything, and the brain needs certain things to function properly. It needs nutrients that comes in the form of blood, right?
What?
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Air?
It needs oxygen. It needs
oxygen. So airheads have like an over. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
And so if the brain doesn't have blood, right? If the brain doesn't have a drainage system, if the brain isn't able to properly communicate with the body, since the brain controls nearly everything, it's possible that,
what do you mean
certain things.
Nearly everything?
Ooh,
I thought we just talked.
Like you said, there might be
we
some
talked. It really
things.
controls everything.
It does.
Yeah.
I
mean physically anyway.
Physically, thank you.
There you go. You're welcome.
And so if that area shifts, it doesn't allow the brain to properly communicate with the body, and if the brain can't properly communicate with the body, then it makes sense that something might go wrong. So that's the basis of the type of chiropractic that we do.
Excuse you, Mo.
I heard that. I wonder if they heard that.
No, probably.
That's good.
It's a really good microphone on that little camera.
We'll see.
It's like, I love you. Anyway, so back to the...
They should see him playing. No one sees him playing. You're such a fun puppy.
He is. This is Mo the pet.
Mo the pet dog. He's
So
great.
when we're out in public, it's Mo the service dog, and he's all business and
He is. It's a wild
about
change.
95% focused on his job.
Mm-hmm.
5% focused on friends, smells,
Yeah.
But at home,
Different world.
as soon as that harness comes off him, it's like playtime, pet time.
Yeah, he puts on a different hat.
Yeah, and show host. Anyway, so back to the stop it. So let's go to those two little bones here in the neck.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first had my first initial interview, consultation, whatever you want to call it, with you, you have those two little bones.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a sample of them in your office. You said, put your thumb in there. And I'm like an idiot. I'm like, sure.
That?
And he just takes them and he twists them just a tiny bit. And I'm going, what? Hello?
Yeah.
The pressure on the thumb was crazy.
Yeah.
And you really only twisted it a teeny tiny bit.
Yeah. And so the example that we use that for is to measure how much has the foundation of the spine or the upper neck rotated.
Mm-hmm.
And if the upper neck
Yeah,
is
let me
rotated,
tell you, I was a twisted sister.
but you kept all the good twists.
Hey, yeah.
You get to keep the fun twists.
Right.
And so if the upper neck is rotated, just that little bit of pressure on your thumb, imagine that being the pressure that is on the wire
Right, because
between the brain and everything
right,
else.
because everything goes right through that to these two bones there, right?
Quite literally, it's
Like
known as
your
a
blood
bottleneck.
vessels, your nerves, and everything goes right through that.
Yep.
Shush.
Yep. So the top two bones of the neck control about 50% of the blood vessels that go into the brain. And once again, if the brain doesn't have blood, how well is it going to function? And if the brain's not functioning well, how well is the rest of the body that it controls going to function?
Right.
So we consider it the foundation because it's the region closest to the brain, and the brain is your house, right? If the house isn't working well, then how are you going to sleep?
Well, right. I mean, it's like I tell everybody, it's like it starts with you. Love yourself first, so you can love others and those around you. And I mean, it starts all with us.
It does.
And if our mind isn't functioning right, if our body isn't functioning right, it affects everything around us.
It does, absolutely. And so many more people need to learn that. So many more people need to learn
working
that,
on it,
that
working on it.
self-care,
We're
right? She's here to disrupt the industry, by the way, which is a great thing. And I fully see it.
I'm disrupting so
fruition.
many things, it's fun.
And that's the key, is that she's having fun with it, right?
I'm having
for
a blast.
For people that haven't seen, I mean, I'm sure you are well known in the community, and one thing
Yeah,
that's
one or two people know.
one or two pockets. But the cool thing is like just to see the growth and the change that your life has taken in the past 2 years. And I don't know if your audience knows about that completely, but for me watching it as a bystander, it's been...
How long have we known each other? Has it been 2 years, a year? I think it's been a year.
Somewhere in between there. Sounds about right. But even in that time, because in that time you maybe had just started matters of perspective, where you had really just moved away from the mortgage system.
I think I was still a mortgage person.
When I first met you, you were still in mortgage.
Okay, so it's been 2 years then.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Because it was through the women's chamber, and that's where we originally met.
Yeah, a lot has changed in those last 2 years.
Hey, change is the only constant, right?
Change is good. I love change.
It is. And if you can embrace it, how much more better is it?
Oh my gosh. And it's like, ooh, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go like, oh, well, that was not a good idea.
And you learn.
And it was a learning experience,
You
exactly.
learn. Yeah,
So yeah.
that's how it should be.
Oh yeah.
So
Totally.
if you don't know more about Beanie's story, you gotta find out. You gotta ask her some questions or look into
Thank
the
you.
past couple of years of her. I know this is supposed to be an interview of Dr. Max, but
Well,
she's got pretty darn cool
it's
stories.
really more a conversation with friends,
Okay.
having fun,
Okay.
and giving the audience some nuggets, something to take home,
Mm-hmm.
maybe to implement or food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what the show is all about, is to inspire people, to make people smile,
Mm-hmm.
to just help them be better, be more, and be happy. Really, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Happiness matters.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah. So it was funny. So when I came to see you, I was walking hunched over
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Always using a.
I pretty much always use my stick
Mm-hmm.
because I'm beanie on a stick. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't help it.
That's okay.
But and I was skeptical, but I was open.
Mm-hmm.
I was willing to try because this is something I've never even heard of,
Mm-hmm.
but it made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, huh. Especially what really did it for me, I have to tell you, when I stuck my thumb in the
And you felt
bounce,
torsion.
and yeah. And you really only
Moved it a tiny bit, yeah.
a teeny tiny bit.
Yeah, and then that comes down to really how it functions too,
Right,
The
and
stuff that we measure
to me
is-
that was like the holy wow moment.
Mhm.
I was like, I need to give this a shot.
There's something here. Yeah.
And
that's what I was like too. So jumping back towards my first experience with this non-traditional form of chiropractic, I was one of the biggest skeptics. I knew about it in school. I made fun of it in school. And then, long story short, as I was starting school, my significant other Paige had a head injury. Her head injury wasn't a big deal for about 6 months, but 6 months later she started to have all these secondary conditions that no one ever linked to the head injury. Or at least we didn't for about 4 or 5 years.
Well, because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And even if I knew about it and I still didn't know about it. You know what I mean?
Because, knowing and connecting the dots are two different stories too.
That is very true. Very true. So after her head injury, 6 months later, she started to have all sorts of weird secondary conditions or symptoms. It started with headaches, turned into migraines, turned into heart palpitations.
Oh wow.
Which coincided with really strong anxiety, so bad.
It's a chain reaction. I mean.
It really is. It really, really is. And the connection between the heart and the brain, or the coherence that we want to have between the heart and the brain, is oh so important. And when that doesn't happen, the body just doesn't work how it should.
Right.
And so, along with that, she was only sleeping for 15 or 20 minutes per night.
Oh my gosh.
She became sensitive to pretty much every food under the sun, to where she was only able to eat 4 or 5 different types of foods that included basically just meat and vegetables. And that's literally how she lived for 4 years.
Oh my goodness.
Now, the story gets a lot more happy. She found a lot of really great things about herself, and we found some really great depths of our love through that experience. But going through it, you don't know that.
And I have to tell you,
Yeah.
squirrel.
Squirrel.
I love.
Shiny squirrel?
No,
Normal squirrel?
just squirrel.
Okay.
Anyway. No, but I mean, I love watching the two of you together.
Paige and I?
Yes. There's so much light and love around you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even before I knew you guys were together.
Really?
Yes.
Aw.
There was just this really beautiful light and energy coming from the two of you.
Thank you.
You're
No
welcome.
one's ever told us that, or told me that before.
Oh yeah, now you have
Keep
it.
talking now. What else you got?
Oh, tell me more. No, I'm serious. I'm serious, and that's like one of the things that that drew me to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because the chiropractic and all the issues I have, and I'm always looking for help to fix this. But I'm big on energy, and I need to feel a connection, because it's like you can be the greatest whatever,
Yeah.
but if I don't feel an energetic connection
Yeah.
on any level,
If it's not a match there.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't feel right for
And that's
me.
a good thing to honor, and I once again think more people should
Listen to
try
your
to take
gut.
that perspective.
Listen to your gut,
And that's
people.
all it is it's listening
It's
to your
listen to your gut.
to your
That gut
or your
instinct,
heart, or, whatever you might
Right.
want to call it.
If your stomach turns, there's your sign.
Yeah, run.
If it gets you excited, that's another sign.
Yeah.
In the other direction.
Yeah.
But it's like, our higher self and our body is telling us all the time. It's like, yeah, go for it, or yeah, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
So
Why do you think people don't listen to that?
because we're so conditioned not to.
Why do you think we're conditioned not to?
Beats me, big.
Beats me.
It beats me. I've been trying to figure that out, but it's like when you look back,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you're born and you explore, don't do that. Don't do this.
Stop that.
Stop that.
Yeah.
You know, so we get conditioned that, because to us it's like, oh, I want to explore this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that instinct in us is like, oh, I want to explore this, I want to check this out.
We're natural explorers.
We're
right?
natural explorers, exactly. But when you're little and you're constantly told no and don't do that and this is dangerous and this is that and this is that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you get conditioned to the point where you're like, you're not even trying anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just stop trying because we believe, you know, what we were told,
Mm-hmm.
and now we take it on as truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, the thing is, if you tell a truth often enough and loud enough, it becomes, I mean, not a truth, a lie. If you tell a lie
Mhm.
often enough,
Mm-hmm.
people believe it as truth.
Beliefs, from my understanding, are just a over-conditioned perspective, over-conditioned thoughts happening over and over,
Did you hear that?
right?
That's it.
I read the book.
So, yeah, so it's those limiting beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that are holding us back. It's like, it's not our experience,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the experience that we were told, especially growing up, when we look up at the grown-ups. It's
Mhm.
like, ooh, they know.
Yeah, they know.
You know, they know better than I do.
Yeah.
So we listen to them. But we don't understand is they're coming from their own set of beliefs that was instilled from them when they were little.
Yeah.
And they just carry that on.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you've ever heard the story of the family, and they make the meatloaf and they cut off the ends.
Mm-mm.
Did you ever hear that story?
No, please.
So there's this, you know, family, a young wife, mom, you know, and they make meatloaf, and she cuts the ends of the meatloaf
Okay.
before she cooks it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's before she cooks it. But anyway, so she does it, and one of her kids, because kids are inquisitive, they want to know. It's like, why do you do that? She goes, well, I don't know. My mom used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So they call the mom. It's like, hey, Mom, why did you cut off the ends of the meatloaf? She goes, I don't know. Grandma used to do it.
Of course.
Right. So, well, fortunately, Grandma was still alive, too. So they call Grandma, and they're like, Grandma, why did you cut off the ends of the meatloaf?
Mm-hmm.
She goes, well, because it didn't fit in the pan, so I had to cut off the ends.
And that's the sad truth about where a lot of our
That's
beliefs
exactly
come
where they come from.
from. Yeah.
It's exactly where they come
repetition
from.
and
It's
lineage
because
and-
that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
No, disrupt the status quo.
Yeah.
Just because it's always been a certain way doesn't mean it can be another way. Matters of perspective.
Yeah. And it's all relative.
It's all relative.
I
So-
when I ask myself that question too of why people don't listen to themselves, because my goal is to be a seeker. My goal is to be, you know, unlimited growth. I would never want to stop learning. Similar to you.
Right, well, because here's the thing, you know, when you learn, you grow.
Mm-hmm.
If you stop growing, you die.
You do.
I don't want to die.
No.
I'm not ready. I
No.
want to grow. I want to learn. I love learning.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Keep learning. Live
sorry.
120 years.
Squirrel.
Well, I think presence could be a topic of discussion for that too.
I'll be in the now.
Be in the now, yeah.
Mhm.
Because if you're not worried about the now, right, then you're worried about the future, or you're worried about the past, and how can you pick up the signals of what is actually coming through, especially if it's something so minute as maybe a gut feeling.
Right. Well, the thing is, the only thing we can control or have control over is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened, happened.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
you can change it, right?
Right. I mean, it was a blip in time. I mean, well, you can't change what
Sorry.
happened, but you can change how you feel about it. So in a way, you
Absolutely
can change it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, I mean, stuff happened. I know there's some not great things that happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm looking back and it's like, well, there was a blip in time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a moment in time where something happened.
Mm-hmm.
And up until, you know, I started my journey and my growth, it's like every time I recall that moment, I recall the pain and everything as if it, so every time it's like, you know, when you have a wound and you put a Band-Aid
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
and, and you rip it off, just as it was about to heal,
Mhm.
you rip it off and you rip it wide open again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do when we recall those memories, and that's
Mhm.
what they are. They're memories. It's
Mhm.
part of our story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are the editors and the writers of our story.
Absolutely.
So now what would I do, you know, when stuff comes up, or what I tell my clients when stuff comes up, you know, look at it from a observer perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and pretend actors are playing that scene. You're the director.
I like that. That's a good.
Okay,
That's
and
a
you
good,
replay.
It's a good twist.
Right, you replay what happened, that scene, with actors.
Mm-hmm. I've never heard that before. I like that.
And
a lot.
I just learned that.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
good.
oh, I really like that. Well, the director part that came. Yeah, anyway, it's a different story. So I learned the actor thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then what I got was we're the director.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But as a director, you can change the story.
Mm-hmm. Something interesting about memory too is that from the research that I've read recently,
Mm-hmm.
they say about half of our memories we make up.
Only half?
Exactly.
I thought it was more.
Isn't that crazy to
It
think
is
about
crazy.
though? Like
Well,
for
because
people
we
living
add in the emotions, we
Yeah.
add in the feelings and everything, and then we really make an elephant out of an ant
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, and because by reliving, and then something gets added to it, and
Every single time.
you know, so it's like, stop it. It doesn't
Yeah.
serve you. Stop that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
change the way you feel about it. It's like, understand, and I know it's a lot easier said than done, but it's possible because I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I know it's possible, and I help my clients do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I know it's possible
Mhm.
if you're willing to let go. But that's that whole victimhood thing. That's a whole nother show,
Mm-hmm.
because you get something out of. If you're stuck in victimhood, you're getting something out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, but you're in control of your emotions in this very moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not a minute ago, not a minute from now. Because you don't know what's going to happen a minute from now.
Well, to be in control of your emotions, you have to be in control of your thoughts, right? Because don't thoughts
Well,
create
you have,
emotions?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's all connected. It's like the power of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I always say, it's like what you think about, you bring about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and thoughts become things, which bring our feelings, emotions, vibration, and we get whatever level we vibrate on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so mind-blowing. And first, when I first learned about it, I was like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What?
How did you first learn about it?
You know, I think it was a real gradual thing.
Just over time?
It was over time. Well, I mean, for me, it's like I always knew there was more out there than what we were told.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I grew up in Germany, Protestant,
Mm-hmm.
and I've tried the whole church thing and everything. It was just like I always felt empty. I've always felt like there's more.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like it just didn't feel right for me.
Okay.
And I can't explain, you know, and I'm not saying it's wrong. It's like, if it works for you, by all means, do it. You know, I tell everybody, it's like, do what works for you. Believe what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, the gist of it all is the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's just to me that I felt like there's more than what we're told.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Mm-hmm.
And about 5 years ago, I met Barbara, my
Okay.
friend Barbara.
Has she
And,
been here?
huh?
Has she been here?
Well, she's been here, but we haven't done a show yet.
Oh my gosh.
We were going to do a show last time she was here, and then so many other things came about, and it's just like, well, it's okay, she'll be back.
Okay.
She'll be back. But, and it was funny how we met. I was in an MLM at the time, and she was signing up with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and my upline was there to facilitate it, and I needed something from my upline.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at a Starbucks here in town, and I go in, and there's Barbara, and she goes, "Hi, I'm Barbara, I'm a shaman." I laughed, I said, "Hi, I'm Beanie, I'm the youth fairy."
The youth fairy?
Well, I was doing anti-aging stuff at that time.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm the youth fairy.
What do you say now? Hey, I'm Beanie. I'm your happiness facilitator?
No, actually, I'm the queen of shift.
The queen of shift.
Yeah.
Because it happens.
Because shift happens, and I
You
help
gotta
people
get it
get their
together.
shift together.
Nice.
Yeah,
I can dig that.
thank you.
The queen of shift.
Queen of
I
shift.
gotta get you a little tiara.
I have one.
Why aren't you wearing it?
Because it doesn't need,
That-
sometimes it doesn't need to be that in the face, you know.
That's why the camera's there.
I know.
Next show.
Right, no, it's all good. No, but yeah, so that's how Barbara and I met, and we just instantly connected.
Oh, nice.
And the next time we saw each other, I was walking with my stick, you know, and she's like, "What's wrong with you?"
Mm-hmm.
And I laughed, and I said, "Well, if I give you what's right with me, the list is shorter."
Oh.
Right.
How long ago was this?
About 5 years ago.
5 years ago, you said? Okay.
Yeah, and it was before a meeting, you know, and she says, "Can I put my hand on your back?" And I'm like, "Whatever floats your boat."
Mm-hmm.
I'm shy and introverted, you know, so I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever floats your boat," you know. So she put her hand on my back, and I mean, it feels nice, but I mean, if you have a nice, calming hand on you anywhere, it feels nice. So I'm like, okay, and then the meeting started. I went in the back of the room and I sat down, and she comes to me afterward and she goes, "How are you?" And I was like, oh my gosh. I did not squirm around. It was before my back surgery and everything, you know. I was like, I didn't squirm around trying to get comfortable and ease the pain or nothing. I mean, I just sat the whole time, no pain, no nothing. I was like, holy hot dog. Wow. She goes, that's what I do.
Nice.
And, you know, more. Like,
Nice.
So, and I mean, we just started talking, and I think that's really when that little spark that was always there really started to be fanned into a flame. And now I'm just all the woo-woo.
All the woo-woo.
All woo-woo.
Wow. So she was a big part of your first.
She was
first
huge.
dive.
She was huge.
Nice.
She's amazing. She's like a sister to me.
Yeah.
So we're really soul sisters. You know, because we found out that we've been connected in I don't know how many lifetimes. So, but that really, she really ignited that whole thing. It's like, ooh, yes. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. And then, you know, I met other people like John Thunderheart here in town. He's amazing. And I want to have him on the show too. Nice. And we're actually thinking doing a show together.
Nice.
So, but I mean, it's just learning more and more and more and more and more. And, you know, and that was a huge part for me, really stepping into me too. You know, when I walked away from everything last year, April. And decided to follow my path and follow my calling, if you want to name it that.
Well, you were in corporate America, essentially, weren't you? Plus or minus?
I was putzing around.
Yeah, well...
I was shooting myself.
Do you think that's anybody's calling?
Some people, yes.
Some people?
Some people, yes. You know, and I think it's like, we all have our, well, destiny is not the right word, but our calling, you know, our passion, what really ignites us, and it's like, follow... You know, but it's like we're so conditioned to ignore it and do what we should do and what's expected. You know, like following family traditions, like say families have been lawyers forever and they expect the kids to become lawyers or military or doctors or, you know, all of that. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's really what that person wants. It's just because it's expected and they shoot themselves.
Yeah.
And I did that, you know, I was like, oh, I should do this, I should do that. Because, I mean, I stayed home for when the kids were born, because I told Jeff, because I was pushed and shoved around as a kid, and I was like, no, when we have kids, make sure you can afford for me to stay home. So I did, but then, you know, they got to, when we moved here, they were old enough, and I was like, I need to do something for me.
Yeah.
For me.
Like you said earlier.
Right.
You gotta take care of yourself, it all starts with you.
Right. But it's like, I had no idea. I mean, I didn't know who I was. You know, I mean, I have the name, you know, but what do I want? Who am I? So I did this, and I dabbled here, I dabbled there, and it's like, you know, some people's like, every time they see me networking, it's like, so, what are you into these days?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, plus it doesn't help with your credibility. You know, when you're jumping from here to there, to there, to that, and I tried the job thing, the employee thing, I'm not a very good employee.
Yeah.
I learned that, so, but I mean, it's just, you know, we gotta do, and then one day, last year, April 1st, I'm like,
Click.
Yeah, I was hit with a 2x4 by the universe a few times, so.
Whack.
Oh no, it wasn't whack, it was wham!
Repeatedly?
Oh yeah, until it's like, did you get it now, did you get it now, did you get it,
Ooh.
wham!
So you weren't listening for a while?
Oh no.
No. And was that because you were fitting into that box that you had to live into the, you know,
well, it was
this
that.
is what we do when we have kids that leave the
house?
house?
Well, no, not that much, but it was like my own limiting beliefs that I'm not good enough, I don't deserve all of that garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you break through those?
I have a Barbara in my life.
So Barbara was a really big part of that too. Gotcha.
Yes, we did illuminations.
Eliminations?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe that's for another day.
That's a whole nother day.
That's a whole nother
it's
day.
Like, well, with an elimination, that core issue physically comes out of you. And I'm like, it's an issue. How can it physically come out? I think my first one, I cried out. I really cried like I've never cried in my life before.
Really?
And with the last blow of my nose, I actually felt that issue come out.
Wow.
I know it was weird. It's a whole nother show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Illuminations with Barbara.
Well, and then
I see the show now.
Well, it's to do the elimination and then do the soul retrieval. You find out where that core issue came from.
Okay.
Which is not usually this lifetime. It's another lifetime.
Right.
Weird. Woo stuff.
Woo's
scientific. So anyway,
woo is more scientifically based now than it's ever been.
Well, that means because they're understanding more.
They are, and I think that is a really good way to explain some of the woo stuff.
Right.
And the cool part is that I think a lot of it really can.
Well, it's metaphysics. Quantum physics, not metaphysics. Quantum physics explains a lot of the metaphysics, the woo stuff. So.
Yeah. How does it work on the tiny, 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 tiny world?
It is just.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
Yeah.
It is absolutely crazy, and I love it.
Yeah. Good. Me too.
Yay!
I just got done, or I'm almost done, I should say, reading this book called "Stalking the Swinging Pendulum." And it's all about the mechanics of consciousness on a quantum physics level. I'm not nearly smart enough to explain any of that stuff, but that might be a great book after everybody reads Matters of Perspective.
Happiness Matters.
I'm sorry, Happiness Matters via Matters of Perspective to check out also.
No, but it's really cool. But anyway, let's go back to Paige.
Okay.
So she had all those. I know.
That.
Well, she had the injury with her head, and then all of that, and that's when you guys. I mean, she had all those other issues, like the food allergies and and she said she lived with it for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and so she had all those issues, and she did everything imaginable that you could try to help with those. So she tried allopathic medicine. She also had a worsening thyroid issue at the time too. So she was put on higher and higher amounts of thyroid medication. She did intravenous vitamin injections of high-dose vitamin C and glutathione. She, like I said, completely rearranged her diet. She got into, she would get traditional chiropractic adjustments somewhere between 2 and 3 times a week, which would help.
For a moment.
But things would come back pretty quickly. She would get massages twice a week. So she quite literally had another job while I was in
just taking care of herself.
Just to take care of herself, which is really admirable.
Right.
And like I said,
just to alleviate the symptoms, but never really getting to the core issue.
And that's what we soon realized after 4 years of searching, after 4 years of visiting doctors' offices and having them tell her, hey, I think this is all in your head, and maybe you should see a shrink or something like that.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
Because, she's a beautiful person.
Right.
And she looks healthy even when she felt like she was dying on the inside. She was able to put a smile on and she had her hair done and, she looked good.
Because that's what we do.
Because that's what we're conditioned to do, right?
Well, no, but I mean, we also do it because, it helps us a little bit too.
It does help you feel good. That's true. That is very true.
So
after all of that, someone essentially suggested that we try a non-traditional type of chiropractic. And like I said, I laughed at it at first. I made fun of it when I was in chiropractic school. And there were probably 1 or 2 people that could attest to that. But
I can see that.
Can you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, poking at it. Yeah, it was just the weird kids that did it. And hello.
We love the weird kid. I'm a weird kid. Anyway.
Well, normal's boring.
Well, define normal anyway.
Ooh.
Different show.
Different show. And so somebody said, hey, try this guy out, right? Try this different type of workout. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But she felt called to move forward with it, felt called to try it out. And so
she listened to her gut?
Whoa. She did, actually. Whoa. She definitely did. And so, without going into too much detail of her some of the other conditions that she had, she noticed an effect immediately. Immediately after her first correction, she was like, wow, that changed. And I sat there and I had my arms crossed and I was like, everything works a little bit at first, right? Right?
Yeah, well.
Placebo effect.
Because we really wanted to.
Because we wanted to, yeah. And so I sat there like, okay, whatever. Like, that was a cool try. But she was like, no, like, something changed. And so she basically convinced me to come back a month later. We lived in St. Louis at the time. Currently, this is in Colorado Springs. And about a month later, she had a series of 2 or 3 more adjustments. And in that time, I could actually see a change. So she started sleeping. She still stayed with the foods that she was eating, but she had energy to get up and go do stuff.
Nice.
Like, quite literally, like, one of her symptoms that I didn't talk about earlier was she had terrible right knee pain, so bad that there was a time when I had to carry her up our flight of stairs to our apartment in chiropractic school.
Oh, wow.
And so she didn't hike during that time. During the 4 years, she didn't ride bikes. All she could really do was very gentle yoga, which is now one of her passions, which we're really thankful for that we found through all of this, right?
Right.
Because, you know, it's not what happens to you, it's what happens, it's life happens for you and how you look back at it.
It's what you do with it.
And so she had a couple more adjustments. I could see the changes in her. She wanted to go hiking. She started sleeping. She started feeling better. And we quite literally moved from St. Louis, Missouri out to Colorado Springs, where I could be under the wing of an experienced foundational chiropractor, or doctor that does the similar work as us.
Very cool.
And that's kind of it. You know, from there, it's history. We took over the practice. It's been growing. We brought on another associate, or an associate doctor earlier this year. Dr. Ernesto Fernandez is a phenomenal young man and a soul.
Yeah, he is.
And it's just been great.
Good energy too, by the way.
He does have good energy, doesn't he? So it just keeps getting better, and I think a lot of it has become is because of our assimilation towards things like happiness matters, and
it's vibration. It's all about vibration. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and not just your tribe, but your vibration attracts everything in your life. And the higher you vibrate, the better things you get. You know, so be happy.
Yeah.
Be happy.
And I was thinking about that earlier today, because I knew we would be talking, and you know, your goal is happiness, right?
Always.
Matters of perspective.
It's all, yeah.
Hashtag raise your vibration.
Right.
Hashtag happiness matters.
Right.
And
so hashtag Ellen has to retire eventually. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in. Since we're doing my hashtags.
That was perfect. And so I was thinking about happiness, right? I was thinking about, you know, like, what does that mean to me? What have been some blocks, some restrictions for me personally in my own happiness? And I think what a lot of people try to do when they are looking for happiness is affirmations, which are great things, but I think it has to come from more than just like, oh, I choose happy. And I don't know if you disagree with that or if you agree with that, but I think that there's beyond the decision, there has to be some action steps and some some psychological reasoning, some exercises, some things that can really take your brain from the 70 to 90,000 thoughts we have per day and turn those.
Shut up! Have you
heard that before? The 70 to 90,000 thoughts.
Yeah.
And so they say that's the amount of thoughts we have per day, and about 90% of those are recurring thoughts from the day before. And so if we have those recurring thoughts from the day before, we're going to have a similar reality as the day before. And
because at some point it becomes belief, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's like that. It's that, and I call it the hamster wheel.
It is.
You know, so we're running on this. Most people are running on this hamster wheel.
Absolutely.
And they figure if they run faster, no, you just go faster nowhere.
Yeah.
You're still going nowhere. You're just running faster to get there.
And could that be because they're having the same thoughts every day? And those thoughts are, I mean, generally, for most people in 2019, where there's more psychological stress and mental disruptions than anywhere else, it's mostly negative. And so to figure out how to break that pattern, for me, anecdotally, has been an incredibly powerful thing that I think has been, you know, a good attributable part of why things are going.
Good for you. That's awesome. No, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, I choose to be happy every day. But choosing that alone, I mean, that's the first step. You have to make a decision. I decided I want to be happy. I am happy.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's not I want to be happy because it's in the future. Future never comes. I am happy.
That's good.
So whatever I do, whatever I say, it's now as if it already happened, or if it's happening right in this moment. Not it happened or it will happen. Because if you say it will happen, it's always going to be in the future.
Yeah.
The future never comes.
Yeah, you're right.
The future never comes.
That's good. For thoughts and emotions, yeah, that makes complete sense.
So it's like, I am right now. You know, or I allow to be abundant. I allow to be happy. I allow, you know, it's like, because not everybody's at this point where I am. Because they're like, their subconscious is fighting. Because they're like, I am. I'm telling myself I am, but here's my reality, and it's just not.
Yeah.
But if you, it's wording, it's words, man. I allow myself to be happy. Now your subconscious can't fight you.
Yeah, yeah. And
because now you gave yourself permission. Bam!
So the scientific reasoning, once again, I have to go back to the science because I thought everything was woo, and so I picked up a couple books that explained it. But there's something in our brains called the thalamic gate. Have you heard of that before?
Mm-mm.
So the thalamic gate, the thalamus and the hypothalamus are essentially, you can think of them two different ways. One, they're the filtering system, right? So
I don't have a filter. Oh, not that filter. I'm sorry.
filtering for sensory information,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And so the thalamic gate can say like, hey, I am happy, but if you just, had your car wrecked or you were broken up with
Right.
your significant other, the thalamic gate is going to say, no, we're going to throw that.
Exactly.
part out.
That's
And so
right.
what you're doing and what you're teaching with your clients, I think, is absolutely genius because you're starting very broad. I have the ability, or I have been happy before. I have created, abundance in my life, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, whatever it is. And to have that openness where they're saying, I am happy. I am whatever. You're starting to widen
Right.
and more narrow.
It's the wording, and it's like, do what works for you. But I learned this is I allow,
I like that.
or I am open to, because your subconscious or your gate there can't argue with you.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
It's a possibility, exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, let's explore this.
Yeah. And then law of attraction says you're going to get more of those thoughts if you can have a couple of those positive thoughts.
But again, you have to be aware. You have to be in the now. You have to pay attention to your thoughts, and I call it autopilot. We're conditioned to run on autopilot. We're reacting to.
There's 90,000 thoughts.
And here's
a day.
the thing, and I know so many people don't agree with it, but we're reacting to what we're attracting.
We are reacting to what we are attracting. Yeah.
Because the law of
'Cause
attraction works 100% of the time. Everything in our lives.
We have attracted.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
We are attracting at some subconscious level or at some level.
Mm-hmm.
We're attracting all of that.
I used to think that was crazy.
I know, me too. I'm like, why am I attracting this crap into my life? This is just stupid, da 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 da. Well, now that I know, I go in and I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
Well, that was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But now because I also know that I'm the captain of my ship, I'm the author of my life story,
Mm-hmm.
I can change how I react to it.
Yeah.
So, and I always ask people, is like, instead of just reacting, because people are there, they irritate us. And here's a fun fact, they cannot make you angry, they cannot make you mad, they cannot make you anything.
Mm-hmm.
They can initialize the feeling in you.
Mm-hmm.
You are the one that makes yourself happy. You are the one that makes yourself angry. Because you decide, I am angry.
Mm-hmm. And how long are you going to stew in that?
Right. They might be the catalyst,
Mm-hmm.
but they cannot make you nothing.
Yeah.
Okay? But you have to have that awareness. Because now if you're just reacting without thinking, you're just feeding more into this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have all those shootings and all these arguments and all this garbage going on. Because people are just reacting.
Sure.
Without thinking, it's like, oh, wait a minute, stop. What's going on in me? And it's like, once I started looking, stuff still happens. This is the world, we're humans, But now instead of going like, "Bah, you such a,"
Yeah.
I'm going like, hold on. And I just take a quick inventory.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's going on inside of me
Mm-hmm.
that evoked that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ho'oponopono.
Ono.
Exactly.
Right.
Because the reflection without is a reflection from within.
Yep.
So whatever's going on inside of us, we see amplified on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're not happy with something within us,
Mm-hmm. That's the person we judge walking across the street.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we see amplified in the other person, and that's just like,
And what does that judging do to your vibration?
oh no,
Yeah.
not good,
bueno.
no. But it takes a conscious effort.
Absolutely.
And as like, and it's a work in progress. I don't think anybody in this world is constantly in the right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm
Maybe some.
I'm not
monks,
saying
maybe some
maybe
monks
some
in the
monks.
Himalayas.
But I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just because we're humans
Mm-hmm.
and we're just going on this. But once you have that awareness, and I catch myself more and more.
Yeah.
more and more
You're
and more.
strengthening the brain
Mhm.
muscle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, building those super highways. It's like, you know, I don't know, could have been handled differently. Well,
Mm-hmm.
pay attention. It's like,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, it is such an incredible journey. To
What would you name the journey?
my journey.
Your journey? Journey
Just-
to happiness, journey to
No.
enlightenment, just
No.
Beanie's journey?
It's my journey.
Okay.
It's like your journey is your journey.
I want
And
to have a cool title though, like Star Wars.
well, you can name it whatever you want. I'm like, to me, it's my journey, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned to not judge others.
Mm-hmm.
And now what I say a lot of times, well, life is all about choices, and that's a choice. It's not a choice I would make, but it's not my life to live.
Yeah. Can I interject with that?
Yes.
So going along the lines of judging others, which along with the 90% of our 90,000 thoughts that are subconscious and repetitive throughout the day is something that I've been well aware of my own thinking and doing. And so the biggest thing, and maybe you know about this and maybe you don't, and maybe it can help some of your clients or help some listeners, is to, whenever you have that conscious thought of ooh, that person, or ooh, they did that, or ooh, that's not right, is to immediately go back and say 3 positive things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for me has been anecdotally one of the most powerful things to help get away from the cycle of judging.
Right. Well, I don't do the 3 positive things. I do this mental diet.
Ooh.
And
You've told me about that before.
Yes. I mean, it started out as a 10-day thing. Now I tell people, do 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
Do 1 day. I'm in my 3rd year or so. Okay, you cannot fail. That's what I'm saying. I'm in my 3rd year, you cannot fail. It started out as a 10-day mental diet.
Mm-hmm.
Now I tell people, do 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
For 1 day, no negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
No negative thoughts, and that includes judging, thoughts, what you
gotta
say.
be conscious to know that though.
Right. And I always use the driving.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody drive. That's why I'm in my 3rd year,
Mm.
because I drive every day, and people just like, and we tend to, before you are aware and you pay attention, you unleash everything that's built up.
Mm-hmm.
You unleash in your car, went by yourself, on that one person that irritated you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just like, and you just go bam, full blown.
Yeah.
Okay? So when that happens, as soon as you catch that,
Mm-hmm.
stop. And I tell people, take the exit. Not the physical exit, but just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then redirect. So focus on the positive.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being mad at that one person that irritated you, be grateful for all the others around you that didn't.
Yeah.
Your diet starts over.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Yeah, I like it.
Because that way I don't have to think of 3 things. And for me, if I focus on whatever irritated me and what gave me that negative thought,
Mm-hmm.
if I find a positive within that situation,
Mm-hmm.
it neutralizes the situation.
Perfect.
Versus me trying to find 3 other things because that situation is still not neutralized. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, you can do 1, 2,
You can do whatever you want.
0.5, nothing.
Well,
Stay in your own stuff.
Life
and
is
just,
all about choices.
You know what? And it's all about contrast too. So sometimes maybe it's okay to not.
But yeah, I mean, do whatever
things.
works for you. I mean, if 3 work for you, do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is really, you catch yourself faster. Now when I drive, I laugh at the dumb drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, dumb driver, diet starts over because that's a negative thought too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I'm just laughing and I just send them love.
Mm-hmm.
Love and light. It's like, I'm sorry your life sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you well.
Yeah.
And the other thing I play with now, and it's so much fun. So I'm a master manifester.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered the secret.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I do is when I drive, and there's people like really slow in front of me or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I just tell them either step on it, move out of the way, or just disappear.
Mm-hmm. How many
And-
people have you disappeared off of this planet?
I don't know if they disappear off the planet, they just disappear out of my field.
Focus, yeah.
Yeah. There's a few times where I'm driving and I'm like, oh my God, you're so close on my ass, you just need to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then next time I look up, they're gone, and there was really no way for them to turn anywhere.
Really?
So the first couple times I was like, that was creepy, and it's like, where are they going? It's like, what happened? It's like, well, now I'm just like, no, you just need to move out of my way.
Mm-hmm.
And it works.
Yeah.
Same with parking spaces.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Visualize a parking space you want. If you guys want to play with like manifesting things, you know,
Start with little things.
start with little things. Start with a parking space. You know, it's like wherever you go, visualize you get a parking right in front of the door, or you know, right 2 or 3 next to, where it's convenient. Just visualize that. Believe you will get it and let it go.
Yeah.
Bam.
That's the big part, letting it go.
Yeah, that non-attachment is.
Yeah, I think that non-attachment's
Yeah, but
you
that's
talk
all.
about that in here, don't you?
I don't think so. I don't think I was at that point yet when I wrote the book.
I smell happiness matters too.
I'm
3,
working
4.
on another book right now. So.
Not a second one though.
No.
Different. Offset?
Different. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Different.
Cool.
Yeah, talking about I don't know yet. I'm working on it, and it's like I got the first chapter done. But anyway.
Good.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And I just changed the title with one of my coaches. It's like, you should do this. And I'm like, That's why I can't remember what it's about right now.
You just changed it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You know. So anyway, we got to end this. I can talk with you all day because you're my people.
I think I could too, but...
Because this is good.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much, Max. Oh, by the way, Paige is doing awesome now. She's like totally healthy.
Yeah. I mean, she still does.
We gotta
good things
finish.
for her health.
Can't leave our people hanging here.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, no one thing is everything, like you said. So
Right.
with the type of work we've done, she's made unmeasurable gains in her health and vitality. But she still does great things for herself, you know.
Right.
And she does still take care of herself, but she
And you
is
need to.
much better.
Oh yeah.
Much better.
Well, I mean, I know what it's done for me. So, and I need to come back.
And that's powerful.
It is. It is. That was huge. Because I'm like the biggest skeptic when it comes to stuff like that.
And you know what is so cool about skeptics? I don't know if I ever told you this when we first got started, but skeptics are my absolute favorite people to work with in our office.
Like, in your face.
Because there's no placebo effect.
Right. That's
If
true.
you don't think it's going to work and all of a sudden your body or your brain starts functioning better, like, there's
It's like,
there's nothing to deny. I try not to na boo boo, but you know what I mean.
I know.
But no, seriously, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for
it's
being
really
here.
been a pleasure
I
talking
should have
and
Paige
chatting.
on the show too. I should do a show with
She
Paige.
just did a yoga retreat. Did you
I know.
that? And
I know.
Yeah, she.
That's why I need to have her on the show. I will call
really
her.
well.
So anyway, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I love
thank
you mucho.
We love you too. I love you
Thanks.
too.
Aw, thank you. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. I know this was a little longer, but hey, you can pause it, you can come back, you can whatever. So thank you all for watching. As always, be happy, be kind, be loved. Talk to you next time.
Thank you,
Bye.
Matters of Perspective crew.